RDMS.
Whenever I do fight again, I need Christian Reynoso there on commentary. Otherwise, I'm not doing it.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to another edition of Reynoso. Christian Reynoso here, sitting down with a very, very special guest. I've had a chance to talk to a lot of legends, local fighters, guys with big fights coming up. And in this instance, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run down the accolades real quick. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, the boss man of real movement and martial arts, ADTC veteran, EBI veteran, United World Grappling Team USA representative, AIGA Kazakhstan Team Battle Force team member, am I correct? So many accolades, so many titles, but the title that matters most, my friend, Joey Diehl.
Oh, that's the only title that matters to me too. I want to be your friend.
My friend Joey. Joey, we go so far back, buddy, back to like the MMA Team Curran days. Like before we went live, we were saying like, man, I think at this point I go back about 15 years with you, bro. And there's a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead and start with right now. You're traveling, man. You're globe-trotting. What's going on, Joey? I know you just got back to town. Your team's been busy. Talk to me.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think I started my school in 2021, and that was after COVID and everything kind of slowed down. My fight career kind of slowed down. I haven't fought since 2019. And I started the school, and jiu-jitsu is a big passion of mine, and we had some small tournaments for like our team, and I didn't really have this plan of like competing as much as I am now, but it just kind of happened organically over the last 4 years, and now at this point I compete. Last year I think I had something around like 60 tournaments that I did, like almost 100 matches, and this year I'm kind of on pace to maybe have more. So it's been, and I told myself last year I'll kind of slow down and do only the big shows and stuff, but it's just nonstop. And these offers, jiu-jitsu in general is just getting so much more popular, some more opportunities. It's hard for me to say no. I enjoy it so much.
So, Joey, you've done an unbelievable job of not just like becoming active and staying active in these, high-level grappling events, but you transitioned unbelievably well to professional grappling. You kind of just brushed over MMA, like not fighting since 2019. You last fought in Bellator in 2019, and before that you had 35 MMA fights. If I'm not mistaken, you had your first MMA fight when you were still in high school, right?
Yeah, still in high school. My senior year of high school, I started fighting.
Now, there's not a lot of people that are able to make that sort of that transition to professional grappling so smoothly. What do you think was the difference for you specifically?
Well, my whole MMA career, jiu-jitsu was a focus. I just wasn't I wasn't as active competitively. Honestly, if I could go back in time, I probably would have competed more in jiu-jitsu while I was fighting. I just didn't. I didn't really it just wasn't on my radar, I guess. I competed every once in a while. I competed at every belt level at some point, but not as I've already competed more now in the last few years than I have the previous 18. But yeah, I just feel like that this was a part of my style in terms of fighting. I was always a grappler. I really believed in jiu-jitsu as a mindset or as a philosophy for fighting. So I obviously can make a smooth transition, whereas I think some other fighters are more either wrestlers or strikers. I was a jiu-jitsu practitioner who fought. I was a martial artist who was testing my martial art in a mixed rule set. So it kind of makes sense for me to be able to make that transition. There was a learning curve though, for sure. I was more of an MMA style, and I still kind of take that approach into some of my jiu-jitsu matches. But there was a big learning curve to understand, sport jiu-jitsu is its own world.
And you kind of you touched on it already, but do you mind going in a little bit further? Like, I think it is mindset, right? Because there's a lot of guys that are jiu-jitsu fighters in MMA that aren't able to make that transition. And I think it's exactly what you touched upon there. It's there's a mentality that needs to change. far beyond just learning a new rule set. Can we go into that a little bit more?
Yeah. I mean, the rules are a big part of it for sure too, but I think there's a tactic, a tactics, there's the strategy, there's so much more to it. Whereas MMA almost feels a little bit more like a sprint, it's more of a physicality. And not that grappling isn't either. There's a lot of people who make a really good career in sport jujitsu by being physical and being really good athletes, but it's a little bit less prevalent. Whereas you can take a really great athlete and teach them a few things about grappling, and they'll have success in MMA because they can punch, and the rule set for the 5 minute duration rounds, all that stuff. It makes a difference. So jujitsu as a sport, the sport of jujitsu is definitely a different animal.
And as far as kind of harnessing that experience and knowledge for your team of competitors while still being actively competitive yourself, like how do you kind of juggle all that at the moment? Because as you mentioned not just having your gym now, but you have a gym full of some really high level competitors that are stepping on that front line with you.
Yeah, I'm really proud of that too. I think it's really a big piece of the puzzle for what we're doing. Our school, it's not, I intentionally didn't name my school after myself. I really didn't. I didn't want it to be like Real Deal Jiu-Jitsu or Joey's Jiu-Jitsu or whatever. Like, because I really do believe I want to be able to spread this and build a team where it's not just about one person. So as much as I'm being busy and I'm traveling and competing, I mean, this is all with the mindset. Most of my travel is usually with our team. So we have a huge travel team for RMMA where we go and we do all the ADCC opens all over. We were just in Miami a couple weeks ago, and we brought like 12 people, and it was really fun. And we ended up taking like fourth as a team overall. Like, we've gone to tournaments, out of the state where we've, taken top three, and to us, it's like a really fun challenge. It's like a fun thing for us to do. So yeah, it's a balance for sure. It's not easy to, I've been traveling a lot the last few weeks, and I'm exhausted from it. I've been all over the world, from Kazakhstan to Dallas to just Montana just last night. And it's just been really busy. But with my team, we have a big group of people who all have the same like ideals. Like, they all understand it and they love it, and other people who travel and compete. So we're building a good group.
Well, it feels like you guys have something really special happening at Real Movement MMA or Real Movement Martial Arts, sorry. Um, because aside from obviously having the accolades build up, right? Like yourself as a competitor, your students competing and doing so well. You're all doing it with a lot of class. And I think that's very refreshing. No, absolutely. And I'm not just, gassing you up, but like I mean that. Like, it's cool that, let's say I'm like taking a look at some ADCC rankings and I'll see the big names, the new waves, the B teams or Kingsway, whatever it is now, right? And then I'll see real RMMA as well. And I'm like, that's awesome. And it's awesome that you're making a name for yourself, right? But where I'm going with this is in an era where suddenly a lot of these big gyms carry controversy. They carry edgy grapplers. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, like, it's part of it's suddenly part of like this landscape, That's not something we're seeing from your team. As you grow, the accolades build, and your name gets out there. You guys are doing it with a lot of class. And I think that likely comes from the core out. So leading back to yourself and like what you have going on in the gym. Is it like just good guy BJJ you guys got going over there?
Well, I think of at the root of it, myself, Kyle Perkins, he's a big piece of our team and our core group. We just, the idea of it like being a real movement of martial arts, real as like our theme is like we're just real people. And so there's nothing that we enforce about like, hey, how to act or anything like that. I like people being themselves. I just think that generally speaking, when you're a nice person and you treat people well, you attract those types of people. So like it's very rare, and it hasn't happened very much in the last 4 years as we opened our school. But people who are just kind of assholes don't really last here. They don't really it just doesn't make sense for them. So we attract kind of what we put out there. And I feel like myself and Kyle and everyone here, Taylor Meredith is a big piece of our coaching staff. She's one of our female competitors. So everyone who works with us and trains with us, we just have a good energy. I feel like that attracts the same students.
Sure. Like, and I was gonna ask, like, how would you feel? I mean, as you grow and your name grows, you may have people jumping ship or coming over, right? And like, you don't know what'll come through the door. It sounds like you're welcoming, but it's interesting. You're right. Like, maybe those personalities don't always last in specific environments.
And I think when you have these teams, like these major teams, these huge, the big league teams, you do see a lot of people in and out of the doors and changing and stuff, and which is nothing wrong with that. And I'm a big fan of like cross training, and all our students, we try to encourage them to go to other places and train. But at the same time, it's like the group that we've created, at least over the last 4 years, we have a solid, like we're really connected to each other, which I think that helps with that idea of, we all treat each other so well, and, we're nice people. So it'll make you want to stay around versus it just being a transaction versus, like other schools down the road might be that where you're paying a service, just like going to McDonald's. You don't really expect to like truly like the person who makes your food. You just pay for it and you eat it and you go home. I think there's some jiu-jitsu schools might have that philosophy, and that's fine. I don't think I don't knock it. But I think of us more as like a family network. We work with kids. We have a kids program that's really important to us. So we have that environment where it feels like a family.
Also, and I stumbled over my words earlier and I said real movement and MMA, but it's not. It's real movement in martial arts. I know you are a true martial artist because I've been lucky enough to be around you as the person. But why don't we talk about the movement elements, and what our MMA maybe also differentiates it. So how else it differentiates itself?
Yeah, I mean we're a 13,000 square foot facility that does everything. We have, when I say real movement, for me it's about wellness, fitness, and everything on top of martial arts. Martial arts is just one vehicle that we use, but we have, a huge program. Yoga is a big piece of my life. I'm a yoga teacher, and I think your wife's a yoga teacher too, right?
Yes, she is.
Yeah. And she's out you
yoga. Set up Sasha Yoga, but we are also very big, very, very big fans of yours. So sorry, this moment belongs to you. Go on.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, to me, that's a big piece of the puzzle. It's like a part of the community too that I'm really appreciative of, and it's been a big part of my life since I was like 22 years old. So now at 34, I'm happy to have a space of my own that I can still pursue that. And it's not a competition between martial arts and, for me, yoga or movement. These things are synergistic and really connect to each other well. I don't see them as conflicting ideologies or points of view. They really actually blend well together. I'm sure you probably, your wife has probably put you through some yoga, some movements, and how it's maybe helped your martial arts. I'm sure you can understand that.
Yeah, I think I'm a good example of just like the thick-headed meathead that didn't allow the rational thought that this is likely, as you said, synergistic and likely helpful. I didn't quite allow it to like penetrate my
every respect when you're training.
Bro. I mean, I've had, yeah, my wife's been teaching yoga forever. We've been together since my days training, at Currens with you.
Yeah.
She's been telling me to do yoga since then. I think until in the last 2 years, it finally sunk in. But yeah, it's really amazing how much it lends itself to your growth as a martial artist. And so I want your thoughts on this as well, because it's easy to say like, oh, doing yoga made me flexible, so now I can throw up better triangles or my guard is harder to pass. But for me, and I'd like your thoughts, I think there's more to it, like my ability to get back to my breath that I've learned in yoga that I find myself doing the same thing when I'm sparring or doing jujitsu, and I'm like starting to panic, even as a black belt sometimes. I got to get back to my breath. And it's very similar to what I've learned in yoga. And I'm kind of now I'm seeing these parallels. And I think there's maybe is it the philosophies that carry over, Joey?
For me, I think it's there's a seed that is at the middle of both of these ideas. Whether you call it yoga, I just call it movement, or whatever you'd like to call it. And martial arts, there's a seed at the middle of it that is this mindfulness, this true presence of mind. That anytime when you're as a jujitsu practitioner, when you're just rolling with someone or in a competition or a fight or whatever, there's this like ability to tap into what you're doing in a way that you can't express anything else in your life. You have so many other things on your mind, and you're multitasking in a way that humans do. So that ability to drop in that mindfulness, that I think is the practice that really draws this stuff together. And anyone who has practiced yoga at any level, you might understand that there's a moment where everything stops and all you're doing is the thing that you're doing versus planning everything else and thinking about the past, thinking about what you're doing later. So to me, that's the seed in the middle that connects all this stuff together, which for you said like your breath and be able to connect your breath. That's just one, that's like a tool for what actually is that root, which is I believe that mindfulness practice. So that's a big piece of the puzzle. And we tried to do this without pushing it on people. I don't really say much about this. I let it be experiential. And that experience, generally, people start to connect the dots really quickly once they've kind of felt that from both different modalities. And same thing for fitness. We have a whole, a big gym where, there's plenty of people who don't train martial arts here who just come to work out in group fitness classes. But that's, that ability to drop in and be present, I think is something that a lot of people lack in their life. They go from, they wake up, they go to work, they come home, they watch movies, they go back to bed, they do the same thing over and over. And I feel like they're missing maybe that ability to have a mindful experience, a physical, mental experience that connects the two together. And I think movement and martial arts does that well.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Because like I said, I'm thinking, oh, it's the similarities of finding my breath, right? And like you said, that's just
a tool.
a small part. And
Yeah.
and hearing it from you, that's great. Thank
I
you.
hope it makes sense. I know it's very hard it's honestly not something that is easily expressed through words. And that's the same thing for martial arts, for, us being jujitsu people. It's hard to really explain to some random person who's never done it why it's so good. And of course, you can say the big macro stuff would be like, hey, you can protect yourself better, or hey, it's good fitness, it's good for you. You're gonna feel better. Those are all true things. Those are just like little tools, but it's really unspeakable. It's hard to really explain to someone that, and everyone talks about like jujitsu as therapy and all this stuff. It's like there's something there, and it's not easy to express for me what mindfulness is, and that's another big part of the puzzle for myself. Spiritually, martial arts is it's a spiritual experience for me. When I really tap into things and I start to really feel that sense of calm, that there's no real way to explain that. But that's something that I feel like people get it once they've experienced it. It's better not explained. It's better felt.
Yeah, there's also definitely an honesty to it, right? Like there's a humbling, just as an example of the feelings, right? Like there's a humbling that whether it's yoga, for me it's yoga because I struggle so much in the practice, like the asana of it, right? And even like getting my head right or sparring on the jujitsu mats, like as you said, there's something to it, to being to really experiencing it, to understand it.
And then that goes back to the real idea. Real is just it is honest. That's when I say real, like that's what I mean by it's authentic. It's an honest moment. It's very humbling.
With that, like you said, you don't push it on your students, but there's a bigger, like a more holistic sort of
Yeah.
mindset, right? What else is there?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it goes off the mat. That's kind of the idea. At least I hope so. I hope that, people can take what they do in jujitsu and, take the competitive stuff, as again, a tool, just like your breath. Going to a competition is a tool just to make your life better long term. from the longevity perspective, like what can we get off of what can we get from all of this training? There's going to be a day when we're not competing anymore. And if you got nothing out of this, then I feel like I failed. Like if you didn't learn how to deal with adversity or deal with loss or deal with discomfort or deal with success and how you can maybe use that positively and not just become an asshole because you think you're good at something. I mean, there's so many ways that we can take what we learn from jiu-jitsu or from yoga or from movement or from fitness and bring that into like our day-to-day life. And I think or make us better dads, better husbands, better, wives, daughters, whatever it might be. We could become better people just by this practice. And I think that's, it's a little, I don't want to sound preachy ever, so I never really talk about this stuff too much unless someone wants to talk about it. But it is, if that's not again, like as a martial artist, this is what makes it martial arts. It's bigger than just the training. It's not just fighting.
That's I'm gonna use the term again. It's refreshing because like again, to each their own, not to knock any other different styles or
some people want to choke each other. I get it, man. It's fun. Some people just want to punch each other and spar, and I get it.
We were those guys.
It's all there too. But there could be bigger. And as I get older, I think there's just bigger pieces to the puzzle. I don't want to lose sight of that.
But I can't believe like you're this mature. You're 34
now. Old man. Yeah, 34.
You're a teenager, right? Before we jumped on, I was saying I have these memories of walking into current martial arts like back in the day.
Yeah.
And I thought I was young. I was like 24, 25, and you were a teenager, bro. And you were just, buddy, you had that big smile on your face. I had like this room full of killers. I was telling Joey before we jumped on. I remember going to Currens, and I was already about to turn pro as an MMA fighter. I'm pretty nervous walking in. There's like this room full of killers, right? Like Jeff is signed to the UFC. I want to say at the time everyone's, target out of my back, and the smile on Joey's face, the one I still see now, just always like a warm hug. I appreciate you, brother. Let's talk a little bit more about your team, and let's talk about your gym, brother. Like again, the team is growing, but your gym is physically growing. Let's talk about it, man.
Yeah, so I think I said it. We're about 13,000 square feet, so it's a big facility. We're in Bartlett, Illinois. I started here in 2021, but I was just subleasing, so I was just renting a small spot in a bigger gym. And an opportunity came about in February of this year. We took over the whole space, and it made sense for us. We were expanding at a rate where we kind of needed it, but it's a big responsibility, a big jump. Major change and shift in our dynamic, and so far it's been great, but it's still a transitionary phase. We're not completely done with all of our changes, but we've made some major changes just over a week. So I'll do a little walkthrough. This is like our small mat, so I'm kind of in this room, but we use it mostly for like MMA and kids classes. It's like our small mat. But then just over the weekend we finally got our main room. This is our big main mat. So maybe hard to see, but we got some nice natural light. And this is all like a spring floor that we installed over the weekend with a nice mat. And this will be wall mats here. And so these are like our two main training facilities or training mats. And then this is all connected with through this room or through this garage door here. We have our gym. So it's kind of cool to see. We even open this up. Like our major, our gym itself. So we do all classes and stuff in here. But
look at you.
Yeah, it's nonstop. I'll show you one last thing. And we have like massage rooms, and we're gonna do a contrast room, which is basically like, sauna and ice baths. We have all that set up. It's not done yet. And then this is like our yoga space, which I'm really proud of. So this is our hot yoga room. This room gets up to like 105, and wow. We have like 30 plus people in there. So yeah, so this is the space out in Bartlett.
Love it. Well, guys, if you guys are in Bartlett, anywhere near Bartlett, obviously this is the place to be. Joey, I'm gonna make sure that aside from having a link obviously to this interview on my IG, I'll make sure that I have a link to either your page or Real Movement. Yeah, absolutely, for the next week or so to come. A lot going on. The academy's growing. The team is growing. You're full steam ahead, and you've got a big match coming up. So Now that we've covered all that, let's circle back. This Friday, you're vying for the 135-pound no-gi title over at CFFC, taking on their current champ, Junny Ocasio. Let's talk about it, my man.
Yeah. So Junny Ocasio is one of the, I would say one of the all-time greats, especially for our weight class, like us smaller people. You know, at 135, he's one of the best in the world. He's, you know, I think multi-time world champ, uh, you know, Pan Am champ, Europeans champ. He's won everything that you can win in the sport, especially in no-gi grappling. And he's kind of like a pioneer in terms of leg locks. He's, you know, he's invented a lot of the stuff that people do nowadays, like with the Junie lock and the Z lock and all these things. And he's just a very special individual. He's also a really great guy. I've interacted with him a bunch. I have some history with him. I actually grappled him in 2023, and I ended up beating him with a leg lock. I ended up knee barring Junie in a tournament, an ADCC tournament in Texas, in Dallas. So since then, I don't think he's lost. Like since then, he's just beaten everyone. And so this opportunity came about. He actually, it was funny. Like I got the message from the promoter for Fury Grappling and all that, but I didn't see it. It was like in my inbox, and I was busy. I was traveling to a bunch of different places and doing stuff. And then he messaged me himself. Junior was like, "Hey, you know, by the way, I don't mean to be rude, but like, can you check your messages?" But just so obviously, he really wants the match. You know, he wants the rematch. I think he wants to get a little revenge back. And so, you know, it's fun. It's a cool thing. And you know, I really like the guy. I think he's super talented. Um, it's a good match. So for me, it's, you know, to prove that it's not just a fluke that I beat him once, I can try to do it again. But I know it's a difficult task. He's a nightmare. I felt it when I first grappled him. He's very, very talented, very strong. So I got a tough night for sure. This is just this Friday. So I leave on Thursday. I'll fly out there, do the weigh-ins, compete on Friday, and I'll head right home, back to work.
Excellent. Well, everybody tune in. That's going to be obviously coming to you on UFC Fight Pass, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like you said, he's been on an absolute tear. I have it up right here. I mean, you know these things, but since your match, 2023 Pan Am Nogi champion, Euro Nogi champ, World Nogi champ 2023, Pan Am Nogi champ 24, Euro Nogi champ 2024. All these accolades. Can I let the cat out of the bag, bro? You,
Yeah.
you weren't totally sure. You didn't know about all these accolades when you faced off against him in June of 2023, did you?
No, it's like
Not these. These haven't happened yet, but
yeah, well, I mean, he was already very well established, well known, but I just personally didn't. So in 2023, I really started competing a lot more in jiu-jitsu. In 2020, late 2022 is like the first time me and Kyle Perkins, one of my best friends and a teacher here at Real Movement, he we went out and did the first ever our first ADCC trials. So we did this trials in New Jersey. We went out there and competed, and I just like, man, this is so much fun. Okay, I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna jump into this. And then we started doing all of these ADCC opens. So me and Kyle, we started in it was in 2023, March, I think it was April or March, something like that. They started doing them every month, and we went out there and we every month we went somewhere, me and Kyle, and that was the start of it. So I was kind of, you know, I guess like raw in the sport. It's almost like someone just doesn't know the athlete. I don't know the stories. So when I got matched up with Junie in the first round at a tournament, you know, I didn't really fully, you know, understand who he was. But then when I beat him and everyone came up to me, was so shocked. I was like, oh, okay. So then I looked him up and then I understood, okay, that's why people were so shocked that I beat him. You know, so it's kind of a cool experience. And I think it's I'm gonna keep that same mentality. It's like for me, and this is just the way I believe everyone competes best, is like dropping storylines. You know, it kind of goes back to what we're talking about with training. You know, that mindfulness of it is like you can't go into it thinking this person's so good. I know he's good, but I can think about that now, but when I'm competing against him, I just got to treat him like a person and a human, you know, and that's kind of what I did the first time I beat him. I didn't think of him as special because I didn't know it. And now I just got to remind myself that, you know, no one's special and everyone's special. You know, I'm good too. You know what I mean? I can be beat, I can lose. I've won, I've lost. You know, I've experienced everything, and so is he. So, you know, I think that's the right mindset. Is we gotta treat everyone, every single match as a fresh start. Speaking of
yeah.
Kyle, oh, there he is. Kyle Perkins just walking in right now.
Shout out to Professor Percolator in the house.
What's up, guys?
Awesome. Well, I see you got, people working their way.
Class coming up in a couple minutes. Kyle, you want to say hi to Reynoso? Is it okay if he jumps in?
Please. It's cameo appearance. What's up, Professor Percolator in the house? What's up, dude?
We were just talking about you.
Awesome. Yeah, man. Well, we're also, one of the things we are kind of hard because we talked about, like, obviously all the successes Joey's having, seeing the gym grow, and all of it happening at the same time, I think speaks to, what an amazing support system Joey has and what an amazing community and infrastructure you guys have at Real MMA. So congratulations, guys, to both of you. It's great.
And you were saying that all of our students are so respectful. It's refreshing. He's the reason behind that.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, it's a really awesome team that we built. We had a whole squad of competitors and stuff, but everyone loves also like helping the gym and stuff as well. So we really need that type of stuff to have the speed of growth that we've had over the past few years.
If Kyle's on the team, it's hard for anyone not to be nice and fun and friendly. Kyle keeps everyone happy.
Well, Kyle, and you'll maybe watch back and see, I was saying is like, it's become kind of like almost like the in thing to be edgy and like, having all these like jujitsu beefs and stuff, which is like, I don't want to say new because it's always been around, but there's a lot of it now. And to see you guys,
A lot of assholes. Just say it.
I don't want to say it, man.
Well, but it's a lot of fake assholes. It's not truly who they are. It's very authentic. Me and Joey, a lot of people around here, we're not those type of people. So we're just get to be ourselves, authentically us, and I think it rubs off, and it really shows in the respected response we get from a lot of people.
Yeah, everybody wants to be like jujitsu's Conor McGregor, right?
Yeah, it's Lone Ryans of the world,
bro. And it's like, we already got one of those, and we're just, can we just all play nice? But hey, man, maybe I'm boring.
Yeah, I'm boring. I don't mind it.
Buddy, let's all be boring together. Let's all be real together, more importantly, and let's all continue to grow together. Guys, any shout outs, any final thoughts before I wrap this up from either one of you guys or anybody?
I'm trying out this guy over here. Have you met Kenny? Kenny's a competitor, a father of four. The man, he did the were you calling the Maximus shows? I think you did.
No, I didn't call the Maximus. He was part of the real
the Quintet. Yeah. This man's I'm shouting him out, right?
Veteran. Yeah. Shout out Joey for this event this weekend. I'm so sorry. Fury's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be really exciting. So so we're really excited stuff to come.
We got a bunch of stuff. We're gonna, there's really no slowing down for the entire year. So we got a bunch of stuff. It's too much to even name, but we have a bunch of other fun things that we're going to be
ready. Honestly, if you want to follow us, our YouTube channel, Real MMA.
We're trying to grow our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of, stuff following the competitive team. So if you want to see what's going on with us, that's a good place to start.
Good call.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, as I said, I'm going to include as much as I can in the links in my bio. I mean, whatever following I have, yours may be bigger, but hopefully we can kind of...
I'm proud of you too. I know you're saying all nice things of me, but it's so cool to see you go from a career in MMA to now being like you're like the new face of the Midwest MMA scene.
I know. Yeah. It's
so cool as that. You're like the junior Ray Flores, right?
I don't know, bro. I don't know, but those are big shoes to fill.
Shoes for sure.
You're on your way, man, for sure.
No, it's cool that I've had the support of guys like yourself, it would have been really easy for people like you guys have been like, the hell's Reynoso doing around again? He's like not even fighting anymore. Old. Like, why is he
doing great, dude? I love it.
Cool, really professional setup, man. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
I want you to come out here in person. We'll do a full podcast.
Buddy, say less. I'm on my way. We'll get something in the books.
Thanks for letting me hop in, buddy.
Don't be silly, guys. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time, Joey. Everybody, make sure you tune in on UFC FightPass this weekend as Junny and Joey face off for the 135-pound Nogi title at CFFC. What a matchup. What a year. What a way to get 2025 started for Real MMA. And just so excited for you, buddy. So excited for the future. Thank you for your time, my friend.
Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem.